Welcome to another edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy, live from the Salem, Pittsburgh studios. And now here are your hosts, John Hall and Kathy Emmons.
Hey, good afternoon and greetings. Thanks for coming along. A gorgeous Friday afternoon here in the city of Pittsburgh. Hope that wherever you are right now, you are well and looking forward to a little R&R. What promises to be a true Indian summer weekend. Temperatures in the 70s. It all looks very good from this perspective. Kath, good to see you. I see you rolling in here.
Well, you know, the printer
the printer
spit all of the things out in random order. I went in to retrieve them, and they were all a flutter, which was sad for me.
Right.
Thankfully, John, I think ahead and number my pages.
Oh, good. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
So I'm fine.
The printer in some ways is kind of like the dog ate my homework.
Is it like you can always use it?
In a way, don't you think?
Sure, you can.
I'm not saying that's not true.
Right. I mean, I think you got
but it is,
evidence in front of you.
Because a kid could say, my homework, I couldn't bring my homework in because the printer ate my homework, right? I guess they probably email homework now, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think any, do you have a printer?
At home, yeah.
Yeah. Most people I know don't have a printer at home.
Really?
That's hard for me to believe. I guess I use a printer a lot for this work.
We use the printer for whatever. I mean,
a lot of people
I think it's a
know.
necessity.
A lot of people don't have printers.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I know. It's like they don't need it. I don't
Is
know.
that like a fax machine? Is a printer going the way of the fax machine?
It might be.
Really?
It might be.
Were you excited? When I got my first printer, I was like, I cannot believe it. I'm on the web, and I'm printing things from the web.
Especially because prior to me having my own printer, I was a college student at the print labs at the University of Pittsburgh, which meant that when you had to print out your paper, you had to go to a computer lab and you had to work on it, and then you had to print it there. It's not like you were printing stuff. Listen, when I got that printer, I felt like I was on top of the world.
Like you're an adult.
Yes. I'm not playing around anymore.
No. We used to go to the Sunoco station down the street and print our stuff out there.
Is that serious?
No, just kidding.
I was like, could you really
just
do
kidding.
that?
No.
Okay.
Very nice. Did you get yourself a boxed lunch out of the fridge?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I forgot about it. And I ate my normal pistachios, peanuts, and craisins, which I have every darn day.
Right. We had a big brouhaha here over the last several days. Salem National Talkers came in, and with that, assorted sort of, at least for us, treats. Right. You go, hey, look at they're having bananas. Oh, they got cookies.
What did you help yourself?
I had a few little treats. Yeah. I'm drinking a ginger ale, thanks to Dennis Prager.
I just want you to know I didn't have one treat.
What?
Not a single treat.
Go check the fridge. There's some cool stuff in there.
Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah, there is.
You don't mean it.
I've been there.
You don't mean it.
It's now my desk drawer.
The one in the conference room.
Oh, that one.
Holy smokes, I missed that one.
That's a secret one. A lot of people don't know about that one.
It's all right. Well, that's what's going on here at 7 Parkway Center. Without any further ado, though.
It's time.
Because it is a big news day.
I think
few things.
Is it time for me to first tell you something?
Tell me.
Your weekend has begun.
Oh, fabulous. It's 7 minutes past the 4 o'clock hour on a lovely aforementioned Friday afternoon.
Where's
Truly
the fan?
Always right and well. The fan is over there to your left.
No, the fan who's going to woo.
There we go. Thank you, sir. We miss you. We love you.
So he brought friends today.
Yes, he did. It's two guys there.
Usually I'm used to hearing him on his own.
Just one. All right. Good. Without further ado, please, Kath, the news stories of the day. Give us the top 4 at 4. Without further ado. No, hold on. That's not it.
Wow.
I left my heart in San Francisco. Anyway.
For Friday. Hey! For Friday, October 21st, 2022.
That's the news bumper you want to hear.
Number 1.
Fresh off the presses.
The president, Joe Biden, says the rest of the world is looking to see who holds control of Congress after the upcoming midterm elections, warning that Republican victories would jeopardize the nation's standing abroad as he tried to deliver a boost to Pennsylvania Democrat John Fetterman's campaign for Senate. I don't know if really the rest of the world is looking. I don't think so. I don't think people in Mali care.
People in Wheeling don't care. Just saying.
Speaking of fundraiser.
Right. That's how far away.
In Philadelphia last night, Mr. Biden said, "We've got to win. John's got to win."
Got to.
Yes.
Got to be there.
Yesterday, the president showcased his administration's effort to revitalize the nation's highways when he toured the newly developed Fern Hollow Bridge, which was a symbol of the nation's aging infrastructure after it collapsed the day he came to
This is
Pittsburgh.
because Prager used your studio.
See,
screwed
but
everything
you know
up.
what? I'm enjoying my ginger ale, though. It's worth it.
I want a snack. Number 2.
Those national guys.
Messing us up.
Daniel Smith, an American civil rights activist and son of a former slave, has died at age 90, according to CBS News. Smith's rich life story included escaping the clutches of the KKK in the Deep South, marching on Washington with MLK Jr., and attending the inauguration of the first black president, Barack Obama. But this is what's so fascinating about him. As I said, he is and represents the last link to the nation's darkest chapter. His father, Abram, was a slave.
That's incredible.
His father was born into bondage in Virginia and was 70 when his son, Daniel Smith, was born.
Wow.
How about that? Smith told CBS News that father would tell him about what it was like to be a slave. He said, "You could hear slaves screaming and crying at the whipping post, but my father never allowed you to talk negatively about America." He said, "My father believed that in the new country, his young son would have the opportunity to be great." Number 3. Physicians are reporting unseasonably high numbers of respiratory illness in kids, straining a lot of children's hospitals around the country. Juan Salazar is physician-in-chief at Connecticut's Children's Medical Center in Hartford and said a sharp increase in cases of respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, has filled up hospital beds at his facility, creating capacity issues. The Wall Street Journal talked to people all over the country who are in positions of medical leadership. One said, quote, "It's just a viral Petri dish out there right now."
Yikes.
And number 4, from tracking down suspects in the 2015 Paris terror attacks to fighting extremists in Africa's Sahel region, dogs have helped French soldiers, police officers, and rescue teams save lives for more than a century. So in recognition of those wonderful 4-pod partners, France just yesterday inaugurated a memorial paying tribute to all civilian and military hero dogs. It features a sculpture by French-Colombian artist Milton depicting a World War I soldier and his dog huddled together. And that is your top 4 at 4.
What's the guy's name?
What?
Milton.
Milton.
Wouldn't like to be French for a day.
Yeah, I would like to.
It'll be
If I
fun.
could speak any language,
French.
that would be the one I
It
would
does sound
pick.
so beautiful, doesn't it?
It sounds lovely. And it
Right.
also, to me, seems impossible to learn.
Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah.
I mean, any language seems impossible for me to learn.
But French? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just there's a very deep, sweet beauty about it.
There
the
really
way it
is.
rolls and trills
I know.
and pops. It's very, very interesting sound.
Anyway, check out the news story in today's New York Times about the dogs that they are honoring in France, because it's a beautiful story of dogs that really, I mean, they don't have a choice. You know what I mean? They work
They're
for
drafted
they
into
work
the service.
They work for people.
Yeah.
But man, they have done some really incredible things.
Fabulous. All right, well, that's a heck of a lot. We're getting underway here with Friday's show. When we come back, Andy Masich from the Senator John Heinz History Center will join us. The myths and mysteries of Pittsburgh's famous Allegheny Arsenal. The cannonballs are flying. That's next on the ride home.
101.5 WORD.
I was sitting there and I seen the ultrasound and I just seen the baby. And at that moment, I wanted to keep the baby. She said, "They go to heartbeat."
You've heard that seeing is believing. That's certainly true when it comes to pregnancies. It's been shown that abortion-minded women who see their babies on an ultrasound are likely to have that baby. Today, you can provide a free ultrasound for a pregnant woman for just $28, the cost to save the life of a baby. So whether you want to save 1 or 5 or hundreds of babies, Word FM and Preborn are here to help. Call today, 833-850-BABY, or go to wordfm.com.
Pumpkins, 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 and more pumpkins. Pumpkins are what the Spring House is thinking about this time of year. Hi, Hi, it's me, Marcia from the Springhouse, and we love sharing our farm with you during this beautiful time of year. We've got all kinds of fun planned for you and your family to be able to spend the whole day on our farm. Pumpkin patch hay rides, a petting zoo, giant square bale stack and pipes for sliding, a hay maze and a corn maze, pumpkin picking right out of the field, old-time games under a tent up on the hill, and lots more. And when you get hungry, of course, we have great eats inside, too, with lots of pumpkin creations, pumpkin pie, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin bread, pumpkin custard, and even pumpkin black bean chili. Every October Saturday features a family-friendly meal, and October Sundays feature our 4-H hog roast with all the fixins. Plan to spend a memory-making day on the farm at the Springhouse in 84 PA, 724-228-3339 or springhousemarket.com.
Hi, this is John Hall. You've all helped build MyPillow into the incredible company it is today, and have trusted in Mike Lindell to give you a great night's sleep. On top of the special exclusively from my listeners on the Perkel and Giza Dream bed sheets marked down as low as $29.98, Mike is now changing the game with his 3-piece towel set. The set is made with USA cotton, making it extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 1 bath, 1 hand towel, 1 washcloth, typically retailing for $49.99. Now, for a limited time, you get this 3-piece towel set for the low price of $19.98 with a promo code WORD. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. This is a limited supply, so be sure to order now. Call 1-800-391-0954. Use the promo code WORD or go to mypillow.com. Click on the radio listener square and use promo code WORD. These offers will not last long, so order now with promo code WORD at mypillow.com for this radio exclusive offer on all bed sheets.
Bachman's Roofing and Solar is your local award-winning roofer. Stop waiting. It's time to inspect your roof and protect your home's #1 asset. With no interest and no payment financing for 12 months, Bachman's Roofing is your easy choice for roofing, gutters, and solar. Did you know Bachman's Roofing is one of the #1 GAF solar integrated roofing installers in the USA? Go with Bachman's. Go with solar and install the roof that pays for itself. Call 412-744-8390 or visit bachmansroofing.com.
You know who Cannonball Adderley is?
Sure. Oh, my gosh. Nancy Wilson and Cannonball Adderley. It's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah, Cannonball Adderley. How about Cannonball Run, the movie?
I never saw. Is that Burt Reynolds?
Yes.
I never saw that.
Jackie Gleason, I think so, right? Cannonballs. I mean, my only connection really with cannonballs is things like that, or like cartoon cannonballs.
Oh,
right?
sure.
Like, boom, you know, they load them up like in Bugs Bunny or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a cannonball fly out of a cannon. Have you?
Well, only on TV. I mean, I was just watching a documentary on British castles, and they were showing the castle at Edinburgh in Scotland, and there were cannons there, and they actually pulled a cannonball out and showed how it worked, and it was shocking, really
terrifying.
It was. The sound was incredible. Everything about it.
Imagine the thing flying through the air and landing in your proximity.
They were aiming for a minivan. You know, just
did they hit it?
Yes. And
they crushed it.
It was a lot of destruction. I will tell you that.
Well, Pittsburgh has a very rich cannonball history. Do you know that? We're going to talk right now to Andy Masich. Andy's the president, the CEO of the Senator John Heinz History Center in association with the Smithsonian Institute and the Strip District. And Andy, welcome back. We love this story, and the History Center is featuring this week.
We are, and a lot of people have heard of Allegheny Arsenal at 40th Street in Butler. It was during the Civil War the arsenal of the Union, they said, because it cranked out so much war materiel. But just in the last few years, they've been finding thousands of cannonballs there at 40th Street in Butler as they built new apartments and other things there. The contractors with their backhoes have run into these caches of cannonballs.
So these are live? This is live ammunition, Andy?
Well, that's the question. When the bomb squad was called, they had to treat them as if they were live. But what we believe probably happened is after the Civil War, all the caissons, all the horse-drawn vehicles that pulled the cannons and carried the ammunition for them were taken to Allegheny Arsenal. The arsenal workers took the cannonballs out of the caissons, used a special wrench on the Borman fuse. There's a pewter fuse that goes in, screws into these cannonballs. And they dumped out the gunpowder and then put the fuse back in a turn or two and then stacked it on a pyramid or a pile that lined the parade ground at Allegheny Arsenal at 40th Street in Butler. And these pyramids were 6 feet tall and 100 feet long. I mean, there were just thousands of these cannonballs. And later on, in 1905, when Allegheny Arsenal was decommissioned by the government, well, they had to do something with all these cannonballs, so they probably sold most of them to steel mills that melted them down and made other things out of them. But some of them just got kind of bulldozed into pits and used for fill there. And that's probably what we found over the last few years as construction was going on.
Do you know, Andy, if there's any still unexploded ordnance under there, or do experts think that the area has been clearly excavated?
Well, I don't think that it's been cleaned out of cannonballs. I think that we'll continue to find more. And what Bomb Squad did was that they turned over these cannonballs to the Army. And the Army has only one protocol when it comes to unknown or unexploded ordnance, and that's to blow it up. And so they took all these cannonballs, Civil War cannonballs, to Fort Indiantown Gap, between here and Harrisburg, and they put C4, plastic explosive, shaped charges on each one of these cannonballs, and then just blew the bejesus out of them, and just fragments of iron flying everywhere. And so we couldn't learn anything from those fragments. And the historians want to know what was inside an Allegheny Arsenal cannonball. How did they make them? And so Congressman Connor Lamb helped us out. He's a Marine, and he contacted the Marine Corps, and the Marines took another 1,000 of our cannonballs. They're about 3,000 altogether, and they took them to Quantico, Virginia, where they have ordnance labs, and they know how to inert or inactivate cannonballs. And they did that for 13 of our cannonballs, which just returned to Pittsburgh, and we're going to have at the History Center, and we're going to do a talk all about Allegheny Arsenal and the mysteries, the famous explosion of 1862 that resulted in 78 girls and women being killed during the Civil War. So that's what's going to happen next week.
Wow, that's fascinating. We're talking with Andy Masich. He's the president, the CEO, the Senator John Heinz History Center in the Strip District. So, Andy, tell us that story quickly. Those 78 poor women, the largest civilian casualty in the Civil War.
Yeah, it happened right here in Pittsburgh on September 17th, 1862, which is the very same day as the Battle of Antietam, which is the deadliest day in American history. Over 5,000 Americans died 100 miles away at Sharpsburg, Maryland. And that same day, Allegheny Arsenal exploded. And the women and girls, we're talking about age probably 15 to 18 years old. These young women and girls were hired to make cartridges for the muskets that soldiers used during the Civil War. Those muskets took a paper tube filled with gunpowder and a lead bullet tied with thread into the tube. Well, while those girls were working, a wagon pulled up with powder barrels. Probably a horseshoe sparked spilled gunpowder on a cobbled street right in front of the ammunition laboratories. The flash ignited a powder barrel that was open, and then boom, 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 3 laboratories exploded in quick succession, and body parts and fragments of buildings rained down on Lawrenceville and Pittsburgh. Windows were shattered for blocks around. And the girls, in many cases, they couldn't identify the bodies, They found the smoldering remains of their hoop skirts, the spring steel from the hoops, all that remained. And probably 78 girls were killed outright. Probably 100 more were maimed or badly burned in this explosion.
Wow. I mean, you think about all the daughters of Lawrenceville, right? I'm sure they were neighborhood kids who worked nearby, Absolutely. Right? I mean,
there's a mass grave at Allegheny Cemetery and tribute. For some of those victims, their remains were so few that they put them in boxes, small wooden boxes. Coffins weren't needed. But it shows you that the home front was very much involved during the Civil War, and boys and girls were pressed into service.
Historians and local characters who know Pittsburgh history.
We have two gentlemen from the Lawrenceville Historical Society, Jim Wodarczyk and Tom Powers, and these guys are real experts on Allegheny Arsenal. They just come out with a new book called Allegheny Arsenal Handbook. It's everything you'd want to know about Allegheny Arsenal and some of the legends and lore and myths and mysteries associated with the arsenal. And they're going to talk with me at the History Center on Friday, October 28th at 6:30 p.m., and we'll answer questions, and they'll sign their new book, too. It's a limited edition book, but they'll personalize it for you. And you can actually see some of the cannonballs that were recently discovered at Allegheny Arsenal. Some of them have been sawn in half using a special kind of hacksaw technique, so you can see the inside of these balls. A lot of people don't realize that Major Shrapnel of the British Army invented a kind of cannonball that had lead balls inside of it. So when it burst, it would send all these little lead balls out as anti-personnel projectiles. And that's why we use that term shrapnel.
No way,
today.
Andy.
Yeah. Yep, way. Captain Shrapnel Major. They made him a major for this invention.
This is why we listen to Andy Masich from the Heinz History Center, because there's always one wow moment at minimum in every conversation.
Very interesting.
That's my wow moment. Wow, that's really something. So this evening, this Friday, October 28th at 6:30 p.m., if people are interested in coming, is that the kind of thing that they need advance reservations for, or can they just show, or what can they expect?
I think they can show, but it's always best to get your tickets ahead of time. It'll make things quicker. But I think there'll be enough seats that they could just come to the History Center at 1212 Smallman Street in the Strip District, right next to the Convention Center. And that was also the site of Allegheny or Fort Pitt Foundry during the Civil War. Right across the street from the History Center is where they cast the largest cannon in the history of America.
Really?
And we have a replica of that'll be on hand, too, if you want to get up close and personal with a 20-inch caliber cannon.
Super
Whoa.
Cool. All things cannons and cannonballs next Friday evening at the Senator John Heinz History Center. Andy, you're fascinating. There's much, much more to discover. And of course, this is the beginning of the big season for you. The more people, the weather's changed, and people go, let's go and check out the History Center. I'm sure there's a lot going on.
101.5 WORD. Pittsburgh's favorite Christian music on the weekends.
With the best new music. New music. For King and Country, Love Me Like I Am. Perfectly loved new music from Rachel Lampa. Hey Girl, Ann Wilson. Celebrating 20 years of bringing Pittsburgh's favorites and the best new music.
101.5 Word FM on the weekend.
Hi, this is John Hall. You've all helped build MyPillow into the incredible company it is today, and have trusted in Mike Lindell to give you a great night's sleep. On top of the special exclusively from my listeners on the Perkel and Giza Dream bed sheets, marked down as low as $29.98, Mike is now changing the game with his 3-piece towel set. The set is made with USA cotton, making it extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 1 bath, 1 hand towel, 1 washcloth, typically retailing for $49.99. Now, for a limited time, you get this 3-piece towel set for the low price of $19.98 with a promo code WORD. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. This is a limited supply, so be sure to order now. Call 1-800-391-0954. Use the promo code WORD or go to mypillow.com. Click on the radio listener square and use promo code WORD. These offers will not last long, so order now with promo code WORD at mypillow.com for this radio exclusive offer on all bed sheets.
From Kingstone Studios, no vacancy, an incredible true story comes to Salem now.
Now they want to purchase a motel and turn it into a shelter for homeless families.
A demoted journalist, a recovering addict, and a pastor fighting for the homeless find themselves at the end of hope.
I got 45 signatures right here, Mayor, against this proposal from my neighborhood. Let's stop this!
It's like the grapes of wrath.
Starring T.C. Stallings, Sean Young, and Dean Cain.
Feed the hungry and house the homeless. That's what we're supposed to do.
It means you have tenants.
I know.
You're going to have them leave today, or I'm going to terminate your lease.
You didn't want to do this piece.
Things change. You have to run it tomorrow.
No, not a chance.
The nicest thing anybody ever done for me.
Streaming now. Find it at salemnow.com.
Welcome to Hope.
You've already heard a lot about the exceptional retirement lifestyles available at St. Barnabas. Here's what you might not know. St. Barnabas is a Christian organization that dates back to 1900. That's when Episcopal monks started the tradition of taking care of those who had no ability to do it themselves. Sure, the campus may have changed a bit over the years, but the mindset is still the same. Think about it. Luxury retirement with like-minded people. Now that's an easy decision. Call St. Barnabas, 724-443-0700.
Time now for our weekly feature we call Twitter Likes. Of course, if you spend any time on Twitter, generally, Twitter's excellent if you don't take it too serious.
And if you take it seriously, it'll be the end of your mental and emotional health.
It'll eat you alive. So I go on there pretty much for the laughs and for the awe, because there's a lot of awe, don't you think?
There are wonderful, wonderful things on Twitter and the worst of all humanity.
Yes. Okay. So.
And then, by the way, it sounds like Elon Musk is going to fire 75% of the workforce if he takes over.
I don't know.
75% of the workforce.
That's rough. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, here's my first like for the week.
I'm ready.
Judi Dench. This is at, where is this? This is Netflix. Judi Dench wrote an open letter calling out Netflix about The Crown, saying the new series should come with a disclaimer.
Yeah, saying that this is not a documentary.
Right.
This is a historical dramatization with a lot of license taken.
In the first episode, there's a scene where Prince Charles goes to the Prime Minister asking him to depose the Queen.
Really?
Yes. John Major is the Prime Minister.
I also heard that Prince Philip has an affair.
Oh.
Which has been alleged and thought about, but there's no proof of it. Anyway, so I'm on Judi Dench's side in this.
And Netflix has acquiesced. They've
have
said
they?
yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Because I think The Crown is wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
But you can't go into it looking like this is everything.
Documentary.
Everything you're seeing is fact.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Plus, Judi Dench, you know how old she is?
84?
No, I think she's 91.
What?
Yeah,
Fabulous.
I think she's fabulous.
Yes, she is. Still. So how about that? Judi Dench kind of like front-loaded that. Let's get it done,
When
Netflix.
you're Judi Dench, you can cause... And she said the reason she was saying that was because she admired the Queen so much. And after her recent death, we should all...
honor her.
We should honor her memory with a lot of respect.
Excellent. Do it, Judy.
Okay. Scott Barber tweeted this. Due to inflation, you now need faith the size of a jar of honey Dijon. The mustard seed has been surpassed because these are difficult times.
Very nice. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Federal officials working on the government response to COVID-19 made well-timed financial trades when the pandemic began, both as the markets plunged and as they rallied, a Wall Street Journal investigation found.
I read the investigation, and it's so incredibly frustrating.
It's damning.
The ruling
class.
It is damning.
The
right.
ruling class.
And these are all the people who are lecturing to us about
these people come in with blue collar or just average person means, and then they leave as multimillionaires.
Yep.
It's a crime.
It is a crime. It is a crime. While they're getting huge salaries for working less than 40 hours a week and getting all the month of December off and the whole summer off.
The ruling class. Both parties, please.
Newhouse Wildlife Rescue, this is much happier than what you just read, tweeted this. It was about Neebe. Okay, that's the name of a little tiny baby beaver who was found when she was only 2 weeks old. But now the good news is she's 5 months old and thriving here at the rescue, and they included a picture of her 2 weeks old when she came in. I don't know if our camera can pick this up.
Oh, yeah.
But
look how cute that is.
Please, would you look at this 2-week-old baby beaver, would you?
Little sweetie pie.
Okay.
Our friend Drew Dick, he tweets this. He says, I think one of the most vulnerable, humbling things you can confess in our society is this. I'm not that busy.
Oh.
Then he says, I am busy, though. Or maybe I'm just not ready for that level of vulnerability. You'll never know.
That's really good.
I'm not that busy.
If you're saying, that's in our line of work, that's you can never, ever say that. Dave DiCello, I mention him pretty much every week in this segment on the show. He took a beautiful shot of the Point last week from the North Shore with the changing foliage and the Fort Pitt Bridge in the background.
Fabulous.
It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to pull it up here for those of you watching online.
Lovely.
It is a beautiful, beautiful shot. If you're not following Dave DiCello on Twitter or Instagram or something,
so he's a Pittsburgh treasure.
Fix it. He really is.
Very nice.
Should get him on the show.
Well, that's a good
Never
idea.
met Dave.
Well, we had mimes on the show, so I guess we could have a photographer. I mean, right? Okay, Michael Warburton says this. He posts advice on marriage to young ladies, 1911.
Oh, my gosh.
To young ladies, 1, do not marry at all. 2, but if you must, avoid the beauty men, flirts, and the bounders, tailor's dummies, and the football enthusiasts. 3, look for a strong, tame man, a firelighter, coal getter, window cleaner, and yard swiller. 4, don't expect too much. Most men are lazy, selfish, thoughtless, lying, drunken, clumsy, heavy-footed, rough, unmanly brutes, and need taming. 5, all bachelors are, and many are, worse still. 6, if you want them to be happy, feed the brute. 7, the same applies to dogs. 8, you'll be wiser not to chance it. It isn't worth the risk. Holy smokes.
How about that?
That's rough.
That's a pretty rough description of the male person.
Sure is.
Do you take offense to that?
No.
Okay. You remember I Kissed Dating Goodbye?
I do.
By Josh, what's his name? Josh Harris. Scott Barbers posted this. I kissed radiocarbon dating goodbye, a Ken Ham story.
Funny. Okay, Micah Fry says this. Have you guys ever thought about the fact that the Los Angeles Angels literally means the Angels?
Oh, no, I never did think of that. Wait, that's stupid when you break it down, isn't it?
Los Angeles
Angels. Mike Cosper said this. Much of the talk about living in dangerous times, like many politicians' rhetorical bluster, is hollow partisanship. But this sort of thing moving into the mainstream should alarm anyone with any historical sensibility. Dismissing it as fringe will simply enable its spread.
Very nice. All right, that's a quick perusal of our Twitter likes for the weeks. Always something interesting.
not who you were 25 years ago. Your life's more complex. People change, families change, and the law changes. This is Jay Hagerman of Abernathy and Hagerman, and a proper estate plan should keep up with those changes. That's why Abernathy and Hagerman presents free ongoing estate planning workshops with attorney Dan Reimer, someone who's really good at making complex concepts sound so simple, so you can protect what's yours and to ensure that your will is done. The next one's happening soon. For details and to attend, visit a-h.law.
What if I told you you can save a baby's life for just $28? Well, it's true. Preborn is a ministry doing just that with the help of people like you by offering free ultrasound sessions to pregnant girls and women who otherwise might choose to end their pregnancy. We know that pregnant girls and women who can see their babies on ultrasound are far more likely to choose life. Your gift today can save babies' lives. Just $28 can give a mother the chance to see the truth of the baby that is growing inside her. $140 can do this for 5 girls and women. Whether you want to save one baby or 5 or hundreds, that opportunity is just a click or a phone call away. Call 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or click on the Preborn banner at wordfm.com.
Train up a child in the way they should go. Well, you know the rest. It's a calling you take very seriously as a Christian parent. And Trinity Christian School in Forest Hills seeks to honor your commitment by working together with parents to prepare students who are academically sound and spiritually ready to take their place in the world through a classical approach to education that helps build a faith from which they will never depart. Trinity Christian School, one of the top K-12 schools in Allegheny County, at trinitychristian.net.
What happened to quality customer service? These days, it feels like most companies just treat you like a number. It can be difficult to find a real human to speak to when you have a question or need assistance. At the Original Mattress Factory, we have a customer-focused philosophy. We offer an educational, no-pressure shopping experience because we want to help you find the right mattress for you, whether you buy from us or not. Visit an Original Mattress Factory today to see the difference quality customer service makes. OriginalMattress.com.
As believers, we're to be grateful always in all circumstances. Sometimes, though, we focus too much on what we lack. Well, the book, The Grumbler's Guide to Giving Thanks, is written to help us adjust our perspective. It's full of practical tips for establishing a routine of gratitude. You'll learn how to appreciate God's goodness, even through disappointment. Request your copy at truthforlife.org/donate.
Looking for a good deal or a rare everyday item? Allegheny County Airport Authority is bringing back its annual auction.
Yeah, I always like this.
8,000 items are up for bid Saturday, with doors opening at 8:30 a.m. and bidding starts at 10. A wide variety of items from the Allegheny County Airport Authority, including jewelry, electronics, sports equipment, toys, and clothing. Also, 11 abandoned vehicles and used airport-owned vehicles and equipment will be sold as well. The auction will take place at the Heavy Equipment Building on the north side of the airfield. Last year, 1,000 people took part in the auction, which is held simultaneously in person and online. Now, airport authorities, they really don't explain the circumstances beyond the abandoned SUVs, the trucks, the cars.
That's the first question. Everybody says, how do you leave your car there?
Right. Reasons for the vehicles being left behind include travelers not returning due to death or otherwise, such as a college student that returns home out of state and no one ever bothers to return to retrieve the vehicle. Vehicles left
Can you imagine somebody doing that?
I guess people have the cash. You just go, too much of a hassle. Vehicles left more than 45 days in airport lots are towed to storage, and then the airport authority and PennDOT attempt to contact the owners before they are put up for auction. He says, they say every year we collect thousands and thousands of items that were left behind at the airport, and nobody claims them. So at some point, you have to empty the storage units out. We don't have unlimited room, so we found it's a really good solution that works out for the community. It raises money for charity and helps us to keep those products moving along. We use those funds to help out military families coming to the airport.
Oh, that's good.
To fund aviation scholarships.
I didn't know what they did with the money.
Last year, somebody bought a used fire truck for $17,000, brand new. They go for more than double six figures. So that would be the airport authority getting rid of a fire truck. I like it. Yeah, I like to go. See, I'm no good at auctions.
Oh, I've never been to an auction.
Oh, you get auction fever.
Exactly, which is why I've never been to one, because I don't trust myself.
I need that. I have to have that. Right. Oh, that's so fascinating. I start bidding on stuff wildly.
Right. See, I can't be trusted with something like that. Mm-mm. Speaking of being trusted, it's International Day of the Nacho.
Oh, who doesn't love a nacho?
I should never be trusted. There are few meals that I can look forward to more than a big plate of nachos. So I'm glad you asked. There would be chips and cheese. There would also be ground meat. Yeah. There would also be black beans.
Jalapenos.
A few, but not many. I'll take 2 on top.
Crank it up.
I'd like some corn in there. Definitely sour cream on one side, guac on the other, and then some queso.
See, I'm just getting... I'm getting hungry just talking about this.
It's epic.
Yeah.
International Day of the Nacho. Do you?
Very nice.
There's the fan. I love that fan. Do you have any places in particular you like to go for nachos?
No. Usually when we do nachos, we make them at home.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a place where you go? Is there like a place?
Yeah, there's a place I really like in California.
Oh, please. Come on.
Which is lame, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm going there. No. I haven't been there in 3 years.
But what about, how's Mad Mex, I wonder? How they're nachos?
They're okay. They're good.
Okay. Nothing like great, though.
They're good.
Okay.
They're good. El Campesinos are good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But at home is better.
Yeah, I feel like it is.
Right, you make your own at home.
I feel like it is. Anyway, that's what today is, International Day of the Nacho.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as I mentioned before, my first day wearing flannel. Okay. I also read that Social Security is now going to allow people to select their gender. Mm-hmm. So when you register for your Social Security card, you're allowed to pick what your gender is.
Well, see, the government is complicit in this new sort of era that we live in, right?
I mean, there's going to be a situation where we're going to get, like, someone's going to have the wrong operation or something because their medical record didn't include their gender. You know what I mean? They're going to try to do a hysterectomy on a guy,
right?
And it's going to, like, what?
It's going to go wrong.
You know that this has to happen.
Sure.
You can't just keep doing this.
Well, we're going to push it as far as possible.
Clearly, we are.
Which Sync Society.
Okay, clearly we are.
The Social Security Administration says it will now accept people's self-identified gender identity of male or female. Non-binary, that's not in there, even if their identity documents show otherwise. The acting commissioner of the agency said in a news release, the new policy demonstrated, quote, a commitment to decrease administrative burdens and ensure people who identify as gender diversive or transgender have options in the Social Security number card application process. All right.
Okay, so what happens if somebody commits a crime?
Well, I'm sure it's already happened.
And we're looking for, so that they're not going to describe the gender of the person that there's a manhunt out for. They're not going to tell police who to look for. They're going to say it's a human.
Right.
And they're not going to tell them what gender the human is. I mean, that'd be a pretty big difference, whether it's a male who is 6'2" and 320, or it's a female who's 5'2" and 120.
Right. Okay, so is this like what came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, because the number of people who have claimed themselves as transgendered has more than tripled in the last decade. Mm-hmm. So
I believe due to social media.
And, you know, that's fine. If you want to, that's fine. My big thing with the whole process is kids.
I agree.
But, you know, by saying that, look, we're talking about this, then we all of a sudden become phobic.
Right.
Right. We're the transphobic.
And every time I talk about this, I make sure I have to bring up the fact that I have transgenderism in my own family. So I don't want to tell you that I deeply understand it, but I certainly still love my family members, all of them, and they're different. So I understand that it's a very complex issue. My two biggest concerns, my number one is children. But my second one, to be honest with you, is law enforcement. I just feel like if you can't say what something is or what someone looks like, then I think you put law enforcement in an irredeemable situation.
Well, I get that, and I appreciate that as well. But I mean, the way that kids are being, used today, and they are being used. We have family friends who, a lovely girl who then transitioned to become a man, and a lovely girl who first said she was a lesbian, and then she became trans.
Okay.
Now, the last time we got together at a family function, she had detransitioned and was back to a girl again and living with a guy. And that was in a short order of 3 or 4 years.
Because a lot of people are not mature enough or ready to make decisions about life-altering things, and people do wacky stuff.
And then they have this surgery,
right.
this
So
surgery.
Letting a 14-year-old make a decision to have surgery or to decide what their gender is outrageous.
But society views it as, it's very courageous. You're so brave of you.
I think it's just a bunch of adults who aren't acting like adults.
Right. But as you said, when you see it in your own family,
oh my gosh, you have a ton of compassion. You realize it's a real thing. It's not a made up thing. It's a real thing. We just have to figure out a way to deal with it that doesn't injure people along the way.
.5 WORD-FM Pittsburgh. On your smart speaker by saying, play the word Pittsburgh. And on your phone via the Word FM mobile app, iHeart, TuneIn, and Odyssey.
Come.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Longtime ally of former President Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, sentenced today to 4 months in jail after being convicted of defying a subpoena from the House panel investigating the January 6th riot at the Capitol. Bannon, though, is free pending appeal. Speaking to reporters later, Bannon says judgment is coming for the Biden administration next month.
This is democracy. The American people are weighing and measuring what went on with the Justice Department and how they comported themselves. They're weighing and measuring that right now, and they will vote on November 8th.
Numerous British lawmakers, including former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, have jockeyed for support early today to become the country's next leader following the implosion of Liz Truss' short-lived government. This is SRN News.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you can get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care. And that's MediShare. You get both. The typical family saves $500 a month switching to MediShare. And that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. It's because MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. If you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number you need. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Hi, this is John Hall. You've all helped build MyPillow into the incredible company it is today, and have trusted in Mike Lindell to give you a great night's sleep. On top of the special exclusively from my listeners on the Perkel and Giza Dream bed sheets, marked down as low as $29.98, Mike is now changing the game with his 3-piece towel set. The set is made with USA cotton, making it extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 1 bath, 1 hand towel, 1 washcloth, typically retailing for $49.99. Now, for a limited time, you get this 3-piece towel set for the low price of $19.98 with a promo code WORD. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. This is a limited supply, so be sure to order now. Call 1-800-391-0954. Use the promo code WORD or go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener square and use promo code WORD. These offers will not last long, so order now with promo code WORD at MyPillow.com for this radio exclusive offer on all bed sheets.
Bachman's Roofing and Solar is your local award-winning roofer. Stop waiting. It's time to inspect your roof and protect your home's #1 asset. With no interest and no payment financing for 12 months, Bachman's Roofing is your easy choice for roofing, gutters, and solar. Did you know Bachman's Roofing is one of the #1 GAF solar integrated roofing installers in the USA? Go with Bachman's. Go with solar and install the roof that pays for itself. Call 412-744-8390 or visit bachmansroofing.com.
Before I came to RPTS, I was a church planter and pastor for 22 years, and I found a lot of confusion about what really constitutes a church.
Dr. Barry York, president of RPTS.
We want, first and foremost, our ministers to know what a church is and what the church really needs, so how to develop the preaching ministry, why we practice the sacraments, how to properly care for God's people, and that you exercise proper oversight of them.
The church needs servants like you. Are you ready? Visit rpts.edu.
We'll see mainly clear skies for tonight. Tonight's low 41. Sunny skies tomorrow. Tomorrow's high 70. A starry night tomorrow night with a low of 44. Times of clouds and sunshine for Sunday will reach a high Sunday of 69. For Monday, it'll be warm with plenty of sunshine. We'll see a high Monday of 71. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm forecaster Drew Shannon.
Welcome to another edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy, live from the Salem Pittsburgh studios. And now here are your hosts, John Hall and Kathy Emmons.
Remember when we were kids, there was an abandoned house in a field a couple of blocks from our house. And so all the neighborhood kids, we would just love to be inside that house, congregate. I mean, you'd go up to the third floor, you'd go through all the rooms. There was, things to discover about this place. I love that. It was, of course, torn down whenever we were, probably teenagers. But I spent a lot of time in that crazy abandoned house.
It's like from The House from the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That was not abandoned, but it was just... There were many discoverable things.
So I see a story which kind of reminded me of that house. This is so cool. The owner of a decades-old missing purse was found underneath the floorboards of a Texas school. The person has been identified. So this purse was at the high school, League City High School in Texas. And the League City Historical Society said a purse that was under a stage that was found during the renovation of the high school when the building was being turned into a community center. Inside the purse were pictures and other items belonging to a woman. Her name was Beverly Williams, who presumably lost the bag decades earlier in the building. The purse was full of what looked like a wallet. It turned out to be a diary, said League City High School Vice President Richard Lewis. Picture it, he says, as today's Facebook. You're putting everything down. She wrote about her love life, who she broke up with, a nail file, a journal, a calendar filled with messages from up to April 1959 were among the items inside the purse. The name appeared many times inside the bag, but they didn't know how to contact this woman. So one of the photos was of the woman at 9.5 months. It said 1946 on it, so her approximate age would be 76 years old. She's the youngest of 4 sisters. The mother signed a note as Mrs. Frank Williams, so they have a picture of the dad, but we don't know the name, the first name. Now, the organization decided to share images of the purse and the items on social media in the hopes they were able to reunite Williams with her purse. October 4th, the school district announced that they had identified Williams' daughter and her family. The outlet reported that the purse was found October 5th, which would have been Williams' 76th birthday.
The purse was found
on her 76th birthday. Mm-hmm. She said she was blown away by what we told her, and she cried whenever they discovered handed the purse to her.
Okay, now wait a minute. What happened to the purse? Like, how did it get?
They don't know. They just know it's behind a stage, so probably it got kicked behind a floorboard or something like that, or maybe someone was pulling a prank. The woman whose purse it was has no recollection. I'm sure she's 76. She has no recollection of what happened to the purse, even that it was her purse.
But her diary's in there.
Mm-hmm. Diaries and baby photos, family photos, a note from her mom. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really fabulous.
Yeah.
Have you ever lost something long-term like that? Oh, yeah, you did. Your wedding ring.
Oh, yeah, I did. I also lost a watch one time that I looked for forever. Yeah.
I lost my keys.
Oh, did you?
Uh-huh. And I found them when we were renovating our house.
What?
Yeah. They had fallen behind like a cork board.
See,
and
yeah.
they were my keys. That was at least, 8 or 9 years they were missing.
Lost and found. Okay, take a quick break. Talk about John Fetterman next.
101.5 WORD. The station with Pittsburgh's favorite Christian music every weekend.
With the best new music. New music. I See Grace. New music from Micah Tyler.
Now I see grace.
Matthew West with My Story, Your Glory.
My story, your glory.
And I Speak Jesus from Charity Gale.
I speak Jesus.
Celebrating 20 years of bringing Pittsburgh's favorites and the best new music.
101.5 WORD. On the weekend.
It looks to be a beautiful weekend this week. Classic Western Pennsylvania, fall Saturday and Sunday. Might I suggest you head on down to the Spring House, enjoy yourself for a pumpkin patch hayride. Hey, Marsh, you're all ready to go, aren't you?
We are ready to go. The tractors are loaded with hay. We've got gas in the tank. We are ready to take people for fun. We're so tired of this rain and ready to take people up on the hill. We have so much fun stuff up there, John. We have big, giant hay pyramids. It's built with those jumbo-sized bales, and then big pipes coming out of them to slide down. We have a big maze. He always tries to make it, the child left behind thing. And then we have a little kids maze that the kids can just run through and feel pretty safe. And then we have all kinds of old-fashioned games, and we have great meals here, a pork belly buster and a Mama Mia value meal, plus our great classic menu that we have every day. And then on Sunday we have our hog roast, and we'll have pork and sauerkraut, pit roasted pork, barbecued pork, and all the fixings. So it's a great weekend to come to the Spring House.
Wow. Take your family down for a great weekend of fun and fabulous food. I'm telling you, you're going to eat well and laugh as well. The Spring House. Hey, Marsh, have fun this weekend.
Thanks, John.
Do you have a passion for helping others? Turn it into a rewarding career at Life Steps. Life Steps is hiring caring people to make a difference in the lives of individuals with disabilities. Full-time and part-time positions available with opportunities close to home. No degree or experience necessary. Life Steps offers flexible schedules, paid training, and generous benefits. Make a difference today. Call 724-283-1010 or visit lifesteps.net. Life Steps is an equal opportunity employer.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
What is a warrior? At Portersville Christian School, it's more than a team name. A warrior is taught to serve, to passionately model the love of Christ toward neighbor, community, and world, to learn as they cultivate academic excellence and a lifelong love of learning from kindergarten to senior year, and to lead through Christian character and integrity. Are you a warrior? Discover Portersville Christian School just 15 minutes north of Cranberry, where warriors are made at ourpcs.org.
I'm a child of the 1960s and 1970s. I grew up in Swissvale. And because of that close proximity to Braddock, Pennsylvania, I knew it well. I would remember my parents talking lovingly about Braddock in the 1940s and the 1950s. And by the time I was a kid and we would go into Braddock had started its decline. But there was still Braddock Hospital, plenty of small businesses, a movie theater, which I would go to as a kid. Of course, I was a patient at Braddock Hospital. There was still great vitality in Braddock, Pennsylvania in the 60s by the time I got to be, cognizant enough to travel by myself into the streets of Braddock. But then, of course, we all know what happened. In the 1970s, the steel mills came to an end, and Braddock then and to this day looks like the bombed out streets of Dresden. There are very, very few thriving businesses in Braddock. A guy that I went to high school with has a bar down there called Peppers and That. There's a car parts store that's been around forever. There's an optician, or maybe a pawn shop or two. All this to say, my connection with Braddock is strong. So, when I hear about our U.S. Senator candidate, John Fetterman, boast the origination story that he essentially saved Braddock, I have to shake my head and go, what story is he telling? Where is the truth in that story? And I'm glad to have Selena Zito with us because she wrote a piece in the New York Post about John Fetterman. It's called No Life in Braddock, the Town Fetterman Claims He Saved. Selena Zito has been a guest on our show over the years. She is the author of The Great Revolt Inside the Populist Coalition, Reshaping American Politics. She's also a writer for the Washington Examiner, New York Post, as I said, the Atlantic, the Tribune Review, and is also a contributor to the Post-Gazette. Selena, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Selena. So we are, hip deep, neck deep in the midterm elections. And if I see one more YouTube ad when I'm trying to watch something I like or get another text from someone who thinks I'm Ahmed, I'm going to lose my mind. So at this point, I think people are pretty sick of it. A lot of people are really excited about it. And some people just kind of want to know the truth because it seems like every candidate's ads are just nixing the other guy. They're not talking about what they actually have done themselves. So what you've done in this most recent article is kind of gone back and seen what John Fetterman has done himself. So talk about the people that you met in Braddock and what you learned.
Well, I've been covering John Fetterman since 2005. So I was very aware of, when I used to work at the Tribune Review. I'm not there anymore. I'm at the other places that you all mentioned, 3 full-time jobs. But so I, when I would read the big glossy stories in the Rolling Stone, the Atlantic, New York Times, New Yorker, writing these pieces about how he saved the borough, I was just struck by the lack of intellectual curiosity of those reporters. In that if you had to drive down Braddock Avenue to get to his home, I've driven through down Braddock Avenue hundreds of times in my lifetime. First of all, let's unpack this a little bit. As mayor of the borough of Braddock, the only power you have is over the police force, and that's it. The borough council makes all the decisions economically, infrastructure, everything. So there was no way for him to, even in terms of his duties, to have been able to do it, even if it was done. And second of all, Braddock has not gotten better. In fact, it got worse. If you actually do the job and you look at the numbers and you dig in, you realize that the population dropped 20-some% in his first 10 years that he was mayor, and an additional 20% in the last part of his mayorship, or whatever you call it. Crime also went up, and businesses closed. He did bring 2 businesses in. That would have been the Brews Gentleman, a distillery, a brewery, and also Superior Motors. Superior Motors has been closed for a while. It didn't stay open all that long. And Brews Gentleman is quite a lovely place. However, it has very limited hours. And the problem with both of those places is that their prices are well outside the affordability of the people who live in Braddock. I think the other thing that's important to note is that, in the time that I spent in Braddock, and I've gone back days and days and days reporting and talking to people, while I only highlighted a few people in my story, they were the consensus of what I heard. And that was, he didn't do, not only did he not do what he said he did, that's evident if you just walk from one end of Braddock to the other, he also did not interact with the businesses that were in existence, like Ted's Auto or any of the. I mean, there used to be hundreds, as you mentioned. There literally used to be hundreds, 5 on each block, both sides, going all the way down, up and down Braddock Avenue of businesses. Now there's about a dozen. And what really sort of an undercurrent that really sort of I thought was important to note is if you were an existing business there, he never came down and shook your hand and said hello.
He didn't know who you were.
He didn't know. He wouldn't know who you were because he never met you.
Right.
And so there's sort of a false elevation based on what he looks like. Right? He looks like he should have been that guy, except he wasn't that guy. And I think also it is interesting, at least, to note that for someone who portrayed himself as the working class guy, by the way, nobody begrudges anybody coming from a wealthy family. However, when you're in your 40s and your parents are still supporting you, that is sort of not really that tough it out working class guy mantra that a lot of us of a certain age grew up with.
Yep.
And I think it's also important to note that for many years as the mayor of Braddock, he didn't pay his school taxes. Or it was spotty. I forget.
And what was that about? Since you've been covering him as long as you have, Selena, what's the explanation for that?
There is none.
Okay.
If you read the story, I mean, I encourage people to go to SelenaZito.com and read the story. There is no explanation. It's just a shrug of the shoulders. However, Woodland Hills School District, where he did not send his own children, is one of the poorest in the state. And to withhold that to be delinquent, I mean, he eventually did pay it. However, he spent more time not paying it, is a problem. And then there's also just sort of the bullying that he did around town. You know, there was a nightclub there that he deemed a nuisance. I don't know if it was or wasn't. However, your job as mayor is not to go to a establishment's building and change the sign to read that you're closed at 2:00 in the morning and not face consequences. He also chased a black jogger down the street with a gun and held him there until the police got there because he thought that he had been shooting something or someone. Turned out to be not true. And to this day, I mean, to this day, he has never apologized to him or his family.
Right. Now, Selena, of course, it's politics. So everyone, you're old enough, you're jaded. You expect when a politician to open the politician's mouth that lies are going to come out. I mean, that's just where we are in this world. But the Fetterman the origin story of sort of like this Paul Bunyan-esque character who, from whole cloth has saved an entire town from destruction and lifted it up on his mighty shoulders is just such a line of complete and total BS. And, I don't understand how
it's gotten this far.
How it's gotten so big, and people nod their head and go, that's my guy. And especially the idea of a guy who never worked a day in his life until he took over the job of lieutenant governor. A guy born with a silver spoon in his mouth, that's one thing. But then you don't pay your taxes, that's another thing. And of course, our city, we're built upon the myth of hardworking steel workers. But we're already, not we, but Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania is ready to vote this guy in who's like the ultimate poser. And I don't understand how you can lie like that and get away with that, and people nod and think, that's my guy.
Well, it's really funny that you say that because most Democrats, in particular ones that work very hard to get elected, at the most local level, right?
Sure.
Will tell you, we've been telling you all of that for years. There's no love lost between a lot of local elected Democrats and towards Fetterman because he always swooped in, took credit for things, and then left.
Yeah.
I mean, under his, you and I both know, Braddock Hospital was the heart of Braddock.
Yep.
For at least 20 years, it was the only place where you could get a sit-down meal in the hospital cafeteria.
Yeah.
And he did not lift a finger to help save it. With the exception of the day before it was to be torn down, I think he chained himself to UPMC downtown. He never joined in any of the community groups, the rallies, the nonprofits that were formed around saving it. And that built a lot of resentment between him and the people of his borough.
Selena Zito is with us, author of The Great Revolt, Inside the Populist Coalition, Reshaping American Politics. We're talking about an article that Selena wrote that's in the New York Post about John Fetterman. So when I was looking at a photograph of John Fetterman with the president yesterday, Selena, and I was thinking, he looks like someone who's trying to get over a stroke. And, God love him for that, because it's an incredibly difficult road back. And so he has my full support in his recovery. I think every person of goodwill would say the same thing. But I do have a lot of questions about whether he's going to be able to function as we would expect a senator to function. And so I wonder just if you could respond to what you know about how that's been covered, either how it's been covered in the media or how that's been covered by his campaign team.
So since the very beginning, this has been a very untransparent event. People did not find out, reporters did not find out until 2 days after he had the stroke that he had the stroke, including the governor's office, which, by the way, did not really elicit any warm feelings between the two entities. Since that moment, then he had surgery, which, again, we were not told about until he was going under the knife, to have a pacemaker and a defibrillator put on, inserted or implanted. He had a life-threatening heart condition that he left unattended for 5 years. That is what led to the stroke. The stroke didn't come first. It was the heart condition that he left unattended that caused this. And I think it's interesting to note that he ran for both U.S. Senate in a primary, but also for lieutenant governor without ever revealing to the public about his heart condition. Since he spent most of the time off of the campaign trail until August, when he went out on the campaign trail, it became readily apparent that there was a problem. And when he did his first event in Erie, he said, "I almost died," which is a direct conflict to what his campaign said afterwards, where they said it was a bump in the road. So there's been an incredible lack of transparency. Since then, they have not released his medical information. He did go to a primary care doctor, and it was essentially like getting a note to go back in class. It was not anything that was any exam or information released by a neurologist and or a cardiologist. So we do not know the extent of his condition. And I think it's important also to note that this is not in the tradition of what we do in Pennsylvania. Senator Arlen Specter had a brain aneurysm. He had Hodgkin's disease twice. He had a triple bypass. And every single time that he was ill, there were doctors on either side of him giving voters and reporters updates on the state of his health. The same can be said of the former governor, Bob Casey, when he had a heart attack and then he had a liver and heart transplant. Again, nothing but transparency. Two completely different parties, yet there was this tradition of transparency.
Yep. And so here we are, right? The election's not that far away. And you think this is, of course, the cry often. Millions and millions of people in this country, and of course 13 million people live in the state of Pennsylvania. And my choices are John Fetterman, who would not know the truth if it bit him in the behind, and of course the carpetbagger, Dr. Oz. Now, those are your choices.
Well, I have to say, I have a hard time reconciling with him being called a carpetbagger, and here's why. He spent much of his childhood in Pennsylvania. He attended college in Pennsylvania, and he moved back here several years ago. This is something that John Fetterman has perpetuated, and so did David McCormick. But it's not. There's not much of a truth in there.
Well, but Selena, I mean, his legal residence, was not in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yes, it is. It has been since 2019.
Yeah, it's kind of Johnny come, but it is Johnny come lately. I would not say. I mean, I understand what you're, the pushback on the carpetbagger, but I don't believe he's a true Pennsylvanian. I get what you're saying, though.
I have spent. The last time I checked, I've driven over and we're now at 5,000 miles throughout this state with him, in rural areas, in black urban areas, in predominantly Hispanic areas. Most of the time with no other reporter there, because they only covered John Fetterman. And so he's not there for photo ops. He's there and he spends hours and hours listening to people. And he's someone that has gone from something that I was skeptical of to a mature and very good candidate for U.S. Senate.
Well, I'm happy to hear this. I really am. I mean, because my impression, which you just heard, is not the greatest. I mean, I'm certainly not going to...
You should read my stories.
You're right.
I've been chronicling him for months.
Well, there's a perfect ending.
And each time I've watched him and watched him with voters, I see this mature, compassionate, incredibly bright, with an unbelievable work ethic. I mean, you don't become a heart surgeon without having a work ethic. No, I'm sure you don't. Right?
Yes, exactly. Of course, there is that.
And you don't have a lack of compassion when you are someone who works on someone's heart. And so it is unfortunate for for Oz, and he will lose if voters share that sort of attitude, because they won't show up.
Very good.
All right. Well, I'm happy to hear your perspective, Selena Zito.
Me too. I really appreciate it.
Check out Selena's book called The Great Revolt, Inside the Populist Coalition, Reshaping American Politics. You can check out an article in the New York Post, No Life in Braddock, the town Fetterman claims he saved.
Thanks, Selena. Greatly appreciate your time here. Nothing in this world beats real life experience. Now, of course, a lot of us have sent our kids to college. There's a lot of classroom work and theory and whatnot. But then, hopefully, there's a day where the rubber hits the road and your kid goes out and spreads wings and becomes part of the real life environment of what it is to earn a living.
And prior to that, the internship is what gets you ready, right? That's the time when you're like kind of in the work world, but not fully in the work world, right? And you're kind of trying to test your wings and ask the questions and
get some guidance
and maybe perform well enough that you could get somebody's attention later on and maybe get a job.
Right. Now, at Grove City College, the opportunity for internships exists, and people cement themselves inside of a corporation. And once you graduate, then, the possibilities are endless. On campus, people come to Grove City and go, we know the nature, the quality of these students. This is an A+. We're invested in these students because we see what you produce. Count us in as corporate partners.
So if that sounds interesting to you or something that might be appealing and a great thing for your child to strive for, consider Grove City College. Look them up online, gcc.edu. That's Grove City College.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
Listen on your smart speaker at wordfm.com, the Word FM app, iHeart, TuneIn, and on Odyssey. In your car or at home, too, at 101.5 WORD-FM, Pittsburgh.
New message.
Your Social Security number has been suspended. If you do not contact us, your account will be deactivated.
Scammers are aggressive when they contact a potential victim. Social Security Administration employees will never threaten you for information or promise benefits in exchange for information. In those cases, the call is fraudulent, and you should just hang up. Don't provide any personal or financial information to these thieves. Call the Social Security Fraud Hotline at 1-800-269-0271.
We'll see mainly clear skies for tonight. Tonight's low 41. Sunny skies tomorrow. Tomorrow's high 70. A starry night tomorrow night with a low of 44. Times of clouds and sunshine for Sunday will reach a high Sunday of 69. For Monday, it'll be warm with plenty of sunshine. We'll see a high Monday of 71. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm forecaster Drew Shannon.
Julie Andrews' birthday was this week.
Oh.
When I think of Hollywood royalty, or I don't even think of Julie Andrews as Hollywood. Julie Andrews seems British to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I don't even really think of her in that category. But when I think of film stars who I grew up idolizing, I have to tell you that she is at the very top of the list.
Mm-hmm. That style of Hollywood star, we probably won't see again.
Right.
I mean, the talent is off the charts, the skill set.
Oh, my God.
And then you add the beauty and the humor and the wit. All these things together, you could see why easily, we're propelled quickly from a vaudeville star to Broadway to Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Just fabulous. I love her so much.
My parents saw The Sound of Music on their first date.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm, in the theater.
My mother would talk lovingly about the opening shot of Sound of Music.
Oh, my gosh.
Like she would describe it, blah, blah, blah.
Because the hills are alive.
Yeah, whenever when they went and saw it by themselves, our parents did, and then they were like, we all have to go together and see it. I mean, that opening shot is just pure cinema.
It is. It's so great. And Mary Poppins was the first movie I ever saw in the theater.
Really?
And it wasn't, it had like I didn't see it when it came out, so it must have been a special showing or something like that.
Sure.
But I thought that Mary Poppins was just about the greatest thing in the whole world. I don't know how old I was, maybe 5 or 6 or something.
Is Julie Andrews still alive?
Yes. She's still alive. Her birthday was this week.
Okay.
Yeah. How old do you think?
I'm kind of sketchy on that. 85.
Okay. I actually don't remember, so I have to look it up.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. 85-ish or so. And of course, Dick Van Dyke, the collaboration between the two of them. I mean,
the worst British accent ever in history, but who cares? She's 87.
87. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fabulous. Happy birthday, Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
All right. Should we exit?
Let's do it. Let's take a break. When we come back, the Week in Review is waiting for us. We're going to have a lot of things to talk about. What we watched, what we're reading, conversations that made us think, and stuff that hacked us off.
Music we liked?
Music we liked.
Yeah.
101.5 WORD.
She was giving me the ultrasound and she turned on the sound and my baby had a heartbeat. I have a baby inside of me.
You've heard that seeing is believing. That's certainly true when it comes to pregnancies. It's been shown that abortion-minded women who see their babies on an ultrasound are likely to have that baby. Today, you can provide a free ultrasound for a pregnant woman for just $28, the cost to save the life of a baby. So whether you want to save 1 or 5 or hundreds of babies, Word FM and Preborn are here to help. Call today, 833-850-BABY, or go to wordfm.com.
Hi, this is John Hall. You've all helped build MyPillow into the incredible company it is today, and have trusted in Mike Lindell to give you a great night's sleep. On top of the special exclusively for my listeners on the Perkel and Giza Dream bed sheets, marked down as low as $29.98, Mike is now changing the game with his 3-piece towel set. The set is made with USA cotton, making it extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 1 bath, 1 hand towel, 1 washcloth, typically retailing for $49.99. Now, for a limited time, you get this 3-piece towel set for the low price of $19.98 with a promo code WORD. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. This is a limited supply, so be sure to order now. Call 1-800-391-0954. Use the promo code WORD or go to mypillow.com. Click on the radio listener square and use promo code WORD. These offers will not last long, so order now with promo code WORD at mypillow.com for this radio exclusive offer on all bed sheets.
What if I told you you can save a baby's life for just $28? Well, it's true. Preborn is a ministry doing just that with the help of people like you by offering free ultrasound sessions to pregnant girls and women who otherwise might choose to end their pregnancy. We know that pregnant girls and women who can see their babies on ultrasound are far more likely to choose life. Your gift today can save babies' lives. Just $28 can give a mother the chance to see the truth of the baby that is growing inside her. $140 can do this for 5 girls and women. Whether you want to save 1 baby or 5 or hundreds, that opportunity is just a click or a phone call away. Call 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or click on the Preborn banner at wordfm.com.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain-relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
It's been another week. That means it's time for John and Kathy's Week in Review. What was everyone talking about this week?
Well, I think it's a theme for me. People are talking about inflation. I mean, holy smokes. It's just crushing. Of course, politics is overriding for everything, but the day-to-day, people generally are talking about prices being off the charts.
I feel like people are also talking about the retreat of the Russian army.
Mm-hmm.
And the gains of the Ukrainian army. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Yep. Okay.
What was a conversation that made you think?
We had a refugee missionary minister on the show this week, Daniel Behrens. And I love to think about all the people that have, for any number of reasons, found their way here to the city of Pittsburgh and come into a community of believers.
Now, he's not a refugee himself.
He's not, but he's someone who at Ascension Church in
Church of the Ascension
in the Oakland neighborhood has made it his sort of ministry to seek out and engage new immigrants to this country, to the city. I love it so much.
Which is really terrific. Yeah. I love that story. I couldn't pick between two. I really liked Marilyn Pitts and Laura Maltz-Schneiderman. They were with us on Tuesday at 5:10 to talk about the Kaufman family of the Kaufman's department store. They have a new book out that has all sorts of details that we couldn't even scratch the surface of. But it really took me back. I love the photographs in there. I wish they were color photographs. I know it would have been too expensive, but it's just really amazing to think of what a huge impact that those men in that family, those women in that family had on the store and what the store had on Pittsburgh.
And the excellence that surrounded it.
Yeah.
Right? That want to make you excellent in some way.
Yeah. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
What are you reading?
I can be honest. I am not reading a book currently.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
I mean, I did that for 9 months or something.
Oh, man. Which is kind of weird. So really what I'm reading all day, every day is the news. That's what I'm reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you got?
I'm reading my very first Agatha Christie book.
What?
I've never read one before.
What are you reading?
Murder on the Orient Express.
Of course you are.
Okay, now here's the thing.
You've seen the movies.
No, I haven't.
Never?
I don't know anything about it.
You've never seen?
I have never seen them, which I'm so glad for because I'm halfway in and I don't know what's going on. And here's what's even better. My good friend Kate recommended that I do the audio version. And it is so fabulous. The guy who does, and I'd like to give him credit for it. The guy who does the narration does all of the voices.
Oh my God. Isn't that what a skill set?
And if you've read the book, you know how many voices there are, how many different accents there are, because people are from all over the country.
Yep.
Anyway, Dan Stevens is an absolute star. So if you have the opportunity to check that out, if you like audiobooks, what he's doing with Murder on the Orient Express is blowing my mind.
Fabulous.
What did you eat?
Now, I'm a bit of a bum because I was thinking earlier, well, I haven't really been eating that well.
I haven't been eating?
Yeah, I haven't not been eating that well this week. And so I reached out to my wife and I said, did we have anything good this week? And she said, I made you stuffed peppers with goat cheese. I also made you this beautiful salmon with this Thai sauce on it. And I was like, oh, right, sorry. So, yeah, I've been eating very well. That's what I ate this week.
I appreciate your honesty, outing yourself in that way. I want to say two things. I want to say the Honey Crisp apples from Sorgel's.
Oh, thank you for bringing those.
Sorgel's Orchard in Wexford. Those are my favorite apples ever.
Honey Crisp.
They are so delicious. So that's the first thing I'll say. And the second thing I'll say is the kielbasi that I just purchased today from the Polish market, K&D, on Penn Avenue in the Strip District.
I smelled it.
How does it smell?
Like fabulous.
It smells so amazing. So I got Black Forest today, which I very, very much like. So I would recommend Black Forest. There's another variety that I get as well that I can't think of what it's called right now.
And you're making what tonight?
Oh, tonight I'm going to make potato and leek soup with kielbasi.
Very nice.
I mean, how could that be bad?
No,
there's no possible way.
Now, will you put it in the freezer, or will you?
No, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it. My husband is quite ill with the mother of all head colds, as I said earlier.
Oh boy!
And so I'm hoping that this might bring some life back to him.
Excellent, very good.
What did you watch?
You know, I love baseball. It was really difficult for me to watch Pirate baseball this year because they're so incredibly incompetent. I did watch.
Me too.
Not every single day. I did watch. But now we're into baseball playoffs, which is the creme de la creme. And so, of course, I'm watching baseball. And I love it so much. And it also hacks me off.
Because you think, wow, this is actual baseball.
This is real good baseball. And we used to have, that in the city of Pittsburgh.
Right, we used to have a competitive team.
Right, but I've been watching baseball, so.
That's good. I love that. I'm still stuck in MI5.
Oh.
This BBC show on Prime. I can't get out of it. Everyone seems, there's a lot of emergencies happening episode after episode. It's just a lot that the Interior Security Service has to handle, so,
Maybe that had something to do with the Prime Minister leaving after 44 days. Could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
What hacked you off?
Watching baseball. Again, the aforementioned. I'm watching the Cleveland Indians / Guardians. I mean, how far away from Cleveland?
2 hours.
Yeah. And there they are. They look like us. I get it. Believe me, they are not us.
Right there.
They are Cleveland fans.
Exactly.
But there they are, cold weather, in their hoodies.
Loving life.
Having a blast at a baseball game that means something. And again, the aforementioned, I get hacked because I think, why isn't that us? At least give us somewhere within the arena to give a shot at that.
Yep.
Because it's still, Pittsburgh is a great baseball town, but unfortunately we're being held hostage by a guy who is not interested in us, the Nutting family.
What hacks me off, John, are the number of media blurbs, whether you're talking a commercial you see on TV, something you see on YouTube, something you hear on the radio, that has to do with abortion. Because just about 100% of the ads that mention abortion are people talking about how restrictive the horrible conservatives are going to be, and how women are going to die, and how this guy doesn't want me to have control over my body, and blah, blah, blah. And extreme. And I get that is their perspective, and those are their talking points. Where in the world is the other side of that argument? It is not to be found. I don't hear it. I don't see it. I don't get it anywhere. I saw a news report today from Marjorie Dannenfelser from the Susan B. Anthony Fund. That is the first thing that I have seen in this election cycle that is a conservative being not even, I don't even care if you're a conservative or liberal. Can't we just talk about abortion and talk about what it actually is instead of just talking about a perceived freedom that women are talking about being forced to give up?
Is it too complex of an issue to be so clear? The preciousness of life?
Okay, why can't someone in a 30-second ad talk about how there's not... I have never heard of one conservative anybody who's been in favor of a woman keeping an ectopic pregnancy. Never. I have never heard of that. I bet I've heard 10 different ads of people on the left saying, oh my gosh, Mehmet Oz or whoever it is going to make women, keep their babies no matter what, even if they have an ectopic pregnancy. There is no way that Dr. Oz thinks that. No. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just saying I don't know a single doctor that thinks that. So I just feel like the pro-life messaging in this election cycle has been pathetic.
What have you been listening to?
Oh.
I'm ready.
I've been listening to this. I've got this big CD player, and songs pop up. This is Mark Cohen. Check this out.
I love that. I haven't thought about Mark Cohen in forever. Would that be like from the 90s?
That's like early 90s. He won like Artist of the Year
I remember
at the
that.
Grammys. And then remember, that's a beautiful album. It's his first album. What's interesting about that album is I don't believe, I'm not sure that he's a believer. I don't know. But there are multiple songs on that album that reference spirituality, I guess, for lack of a better word.
He was asking questions.
He's asking questions. He's trying to dig deep into something. There's God all over that. Now, he's not saying specifically Jesus, but he is pushing into that. It's very interesting to me.
I love it. This is what I was listening to. That's Samara Joy, who's 22 years old.
Whoa.
And she sings like she's lived a whole life.
She sure has.
She is spectacular.
Samara Joy?
Uh-huh. That is her name. She is absolutely fabulous.
That sounds like it's out of 1956.
Her new album is called Linger a While on Verve. You can check it out.
Verve.
She's a big star on YouTube, so you should check her out there too. She deserves it.
Very nice.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
When you need your dollar to go further, you need the Original Mattress Factory. We hand build our mattresses and box springs in our factories and sell them factory direct in our own stores. We cut out the middleman and pass the savings on to you. You get a better quality mattress at a better price compared to mainstream brands. When your wallet is feeling the squeeze everywhere from the gas pump to the grocery store, real value is more important than ever. Visit an Original Mattress Factory location today to see our factory direct difference for yourself.
Experts estimate that return rates for some online mattress companies may be as high as 20%. That's because the only way to know if a mattress is the right fit for you is to test it out before you buy. The Original Mattress Factory's no-pressure shopping experience means you can take all the time you need to find the mattress that meets your needs. You can even see how we hand-build our products in our local factory showroom. Visit an OMF location near you to experience the Original Mattress Factory difference for yourself.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are easy to install and guaranteed to fit. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop today and save big. Blindster.com.
101.5 WORD-FM Pittsburgh. On your smart speaker by saying, play the word Pittsburgh. And on your phone via the Word FM mobile app, iHeart, TuneIn, and Odyssey.
Things to do this weekend. It's a beautiful weekend, right? It's going to be in the 70s.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be warm.
Yeah. The weekend, they are celebrating the best contemporary artists of our time during Saturday's performance of Lift Every Voice. Nikki Porter, Lift Every Voice Unity Choir Director, along with the Pittsburgh Symphony, will host the event. 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock Saturday at Heinz Hall in the Cultural District. A celebration of contemporary artists. The program includes world premieres of As I Please, a multimedia work, and of course Nikki Porter. That voice incredible as well.
Nikki, we love you.
Mm-hmm. Also, some Halloweenish things, I guess. Right?
Okay.
This is the.
Don't send me to a haunted house.
No,
you've never been to one.
Let's see. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Zubu, the annual kid-friendly Halloween celebration at the zoo.
That'd be fun.
From 10 to 3. I've been to the zoo in, I bet you 15 years.
It hasn't been that long for me, but it's still been long. I mean, you had COVID in there. I bet it's 6 or 7 years for me.
The zoo. I love the zoo.
Of course.
Here's me. I love the zoo. I haven't been there in 15 years.
Yeah, how much do you love it, right?
Exactly. Zubu, tomorrow from 10 to 3 at the zoo at Highland Park. The Pittsburgh Modern Committee and Manchester Historic Society will host Manchester Modern, a walking tour of the Pittsburgh North Side neighborhoods. 2 to 4 Saturday. The event will begin with coffee, treats, and behind-the-scene tour at the Fulton Commons, a contemporary working space at the former St. Joseph's School. The tour will continue through 1960s modernist-style Manchester Elementary School. You know where that is.
Yep, I do.
Then meander through residential streets to the Bidwell Presbyterian Church.
I've never been in there.
That's a very pretty church as well. I mean, have you been to the Tiffany Church on the north side?
Yes.
I mean, fabulous, right? How much is this? $15.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The Scary Furnace Halloween party planned for Saturday to carry blast furnaces in Rankin. Perhaps the aforementioned John Fetterman will be there for that.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Tickets are $50, and it's drinking and hanging out.
Okay.
That's it.
It sounds good. Sounds like a lot of fun things. Also, Eric Emmons tomorrow night at Con Alma.
What's Con Alma?
Con Alma's, the jazz club. There's one in Shady Side and one downtown.
Is there?
I think he's at the Shady Side one.
Okay.
With the trio. International Day of the Nacho. I would like to return to that because that is today.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have a Louisville game tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah, Saturday evening. I think kickoff is 7:30.
Penn State plays tomorrow night, too.
Yes, they're both on, and they're both televised.
Yeah, Penn State's in the whiteout tomorrow.
Right. It's Penn State, Minnesota tomorrow. So they're going to flip back and you're going to flip back and forth between both of those because your loyalty's divided, which is hard for me to take, but whatever.
It is what it is.
And then Sunday afternoon, you have free time because the Steelers don't play till Sunday evening.
What time?
Prime time, 8 o'clock.
Really?
They'll be playing the Miami Dolphins.
Kenny Pickett's will start.
Yeah, he will start. And
recovered from his concussion.
We hope it's not the concussion bowl because Tua Tagovailoa is on the other side. So there's I'm sure this is not what the NFL is looking for, is that they were going to have a game where everybody's concerned that the two quarterbacks are going to get
surprised he's starting.
Horribly injured. So am I.
I mean, clearly
so am I.
A young man in
the doctors
shape.
said that he recovered fine. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I'm not going to say anything about it because I'm not a physician.
Right. Anyway, go Steelers.
Yeah, go Steelers.
Have yourself a great weekend. Go Pens.
Hail to Pitt, is what I said.
Penn State, too. There we go.
The fans back.
With John and Kathy, a production of Salem Media Group.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Forget everything you thought you knew about the midterm elections, and especially what the mainstream media told you about it. That summer comeback for Joe Biden and Democrats, it was a mirage. As pollsters get closer to